Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on The Flash Season 3 and Supergirl. So obviously earlier this year, or not earlier this year, might I say, at Comic-Con, it was around Comic-Con, I'm not sure if it was exactly at Comic-Con last year, but they announced that there would be a crossover with just The Flash and Supergirl, and it would be a musical crossover, which is something which was like sort of wanted by fans, or at least a section of fans, but it didn't really seem like it was a possibility, but, well, it's happening. Now, as you would have heard, hopefully, and I've mentioned in a couple of videos, over the past week, the Television Critics Association, panel things happened where executive producers and showrunners get together and sort of tell the press and stuff like that what's coming in either the latter half of their respective seasons or possibly the next seasons as well. And that's no different with The Flash, Supergirl, Arrow, Legends, all of that. They did reveal some pretty cool stuff, mainly with Arrow. They really talked more about Arrow, but they did hype up some stuff with Flash and Supergirl. One of them obviously being the musical crossover, but just revealing one thing, which will be in the title of the video, but we'll get into in more depth in a second. There is still PaleyFest to go this year, as well as WonderCon. Now, PaleyFest is a big festival thing, so Flash and Supergirl, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, and stuff like that. I think they only have one thing. I think it's like a joint panel thing that they're having, so some stuff with the musical crossover will most likely be revealed there as well. And as I said, there is WonderCon, which is, I think, right at the end of March and towards the beginning of April. It goes for a couple of days. It's sort of like a Comic-Con, basically. I think it's run by the same people, and we actually might get a trailer for the musical crossover there if they're done filming, but we'll talk about when this episode could eventually air towards the end of the video. Now, the big thing that they revealed in regards to this musical crossover at the TCAs was the villain, as you can tell by the title, and not surprisingly, the villain is Music Meister, which, yeah, not surprising. A lot of people were saying, well, it's going to be Music Meister. It was really the only logical choice. Now, Music Meister isn't from the comics. He first originated in a Batman Brave and the Bold episode, so that was an animated show towards the late 2000s, I think it started. It was the late 2000s roughly, and he was in a season 1 episode called Mayhem of the Music Meister. Now, this was a pretty interesting episode because they wrote a lot of original music for a 25 minute animated episode of a show, which is a lot of effort to put in an episode, and it really paid off because a lot of people see this as one of the best episodes of Batman Brave and the Bold. From what I've read, I didn't watch the show. I have actually watched this specific episode because I wanted to know what I was talking about in regards to this video. But with the show as a whole, I haven't watched it, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, from what I've read online, a lot of people see this as one of the best episodes. Maybe not the best, but one of the best. So Music Meister has some pretty obvious abilities, if you want to call it that, and it will hopefully translate to this episode of The Flash and Supergirl as well. His powers are essentially that his singing voice, when it reaches a certain highness or frequency, has the ability to hypnotize people and just generally hypnotize them, but also gives them ability to break out into song and dance. So this will mean that the actor who plays Music Meister will have to be musically talented. He'll have to be able to sing, he'll have to be able to dance, and also he'll have to be able to act as well, which is one thing you might want to need if you're an actor. So who could possibly play Music Meister? Well, the obvious one that everyone wants to happen is Neil Patrick Harris, who, if you don't know who Neil Patrick Harris is, he's like Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother, Doogie Howser if you're a bit of an oldie, but he was actually the voice of Music Meister in the Batman Brave and the Bold episode. He was asked by, I think it was RGN, did an interview with him when he was promoting the Lemony Snicket's series on unfortunate events. I love that stuff, and I was forgetting the name. That actually starts on Netflix soon, and by the way, I think the next week or something. Looking forward to that. But he was promoting that, and he was asked about the musical crossover of The Flash and Supergirl, rumoring around Music Meister being back, because at this point it wasn't confirmed that he was the villain, and they were asking him, would you come back to it? And he had heard about it, about this musical crossover happening, the possibility of Music Meister being the villain, and he didn't say no, I wouldn't do it, but he didn't say no, I haven't had any chats with anyone. So He might know something about it, but then again, he might know nothing about it. We know as much as anyone at this moment. So it'd be cool to have him back because, you know, he was the character in the animated show. He can sing, he can act, he can dance. Like, he's done the Tony Awards heaps of times. But I guess one issue with getting him is because he's launching this new big thing on Netflix. Like, any Netflix show is pretty big. Series of Unfortunate Events as well. It's a big book series. He might be too big to get for this episode. And also, it's a crossover with two shows. It's going to take a lot of time to do. He might not have the free time to do it because I think this like little crossover event that they're doing might take a week and a half to 2 weeks to film. So Flash and Supergirl will get different filming times than Arrow and Legends, which will be doing their own normal thing. So it might be difficult to get Neil Patrick Harris to commit to this time frame, especially with TV where you're filming a lot in a short amount of time. In regards to other choices, I have no idea who they could choose. They could make Music Meister look like he does in the TV show with like the orange hair and stuff like that. But I don't really know what they're going to do. They could just pick some random person or like a sort of half well-known person to come in. But as I said, they have to be able to sing, most likely dance, as well as act. Honestly, I don't think it really matters who they get because I think their focus on the crossover musical stuff is going to be on the actual actors from Supergirl and Flash. And it's not like Music Meister is going to be a massive threat. He's just really going to be like the catalyst for having this crossover. Whenever I've brought up the musical crossover before, a lot of people have asked me, okay, are they just going to do cover songs or are they going to have their own music? Now, from what I've heard, this is what Greg Berlanti's, I think, said earlier, like around that Comic-Con time. I don't think he's mentioned it recently, but I think they're aiming to have one original song. So a song that was just written for this crossover that, I know, either everyone will sing. It could be like a big group song, or it could just be, you know, Grant Gustin or Melissa Benoist singing it. But they are aiming for one. They could have two. But I think and then the rest are just going to be like pop cover songs. And I'm hoping it's not all like modern day pop songs. Like you get some really crappy ones that they might do. Hopefully they do some like golden oldies, like some 80s, some, I guess you could call 90s oldies now, maybe some 70s, which would be pretty cool. But I guess it also matters like how many songs they do sing. Like they might only sing like 5 or 6 songs, if not maybe less, including that original song that they're writing, just because of royalties and having to pay to use the songs. One advantage that they do have is that because the DC is under like the Warner Brothers umbrella, they might be able to get cheaper deals or free deals on using like music under the Warner Brothers labels, which I have mentioned before. So that could be the case. We might get more songs than we thought we would. And it is important to remember it's over 2 episodes. It is over, you know, so it's 45 minutes an episode, an hour and a half, 90 minutes. They could fill a lot of that with singing and dancing. So they could use more than 6 songs, but I don't know, it just matters how much they want to spend. One other thing that has been brought up around this Supergirl Flash crossover is just because it's on Flash and Supergirl, does that just mean it's Flash and Supergirl characters that are going to be in the crossover? Are we going to get any Arrow or Legends of Tomorrow? Most likely not. It will most likely just be Flash and Supergirl characters in the crossover, just because, as I said, their filming schedule is going to be a bit crazy because it is a crossover, and they might not want to bring Arrow and Legends into it just to make it even more confusing. And then again, Flash and Supergirl really have the more talented cast in regards to like musical talent. Like some people on Arrow do have it, but it's not like John Barrowman's on Legends, I guess, but it's not like massive musical talent compared to like on Flash and Supergirl. We have like Melissa Benoist, Grant Gustin, Carlos Valdez who plays Cisco, Jeremy Jordan who plays Win, and stuff like that, who are like Broadway actors and who were doing Broadway stuff before they moved into TV. And like Melissa Benoist and Graham were on Glee as well. So there's just more musical talent there. And on Arrow, they're like there for a different reason, if you know what I mean. If you've never seen Grant Gustin and stuff sing, you would know by the Flash season 1. Remember when Barry and Caitlin go to the karaoke bar? I think I'm 99% sure that was actually Grant Gustin singing. So if you want to go back and watch that episode, there's an example of it. Now, one of the questions I asked earlier in this video, when will it actually air on TV? So they're filming episode 14 of The Flash at the moment, which is the second part of the Gorilla City, Gorilla Grodd 2-story thing. And seeing that they haven't announced who's playing Music Meister yet, I don't think we'll get this episode until maybe around episode 18 or 19 of this season of The Flash, which would be like episode 17 or 18 of Supergirl. Which does mean they'd start filming this crossover in the next month to like, 4 to 6 weeks or something like that. I just can't see them doing it too late, like episode 20 or 21, just because it's cutting into that big, finale portion of each season. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be very much appreciated if you could leave a like on it, as well as leaving in the comment section below what are you looking forward to most in this Flash Supergirl musical crossover. Are you looking forward to it in general? Do you think it's going to be a bit cringy? I was on that boat at the beginning. I was like, oh, this could take away from some stuff, but the more I think about it, the more I get excited for it, just because it's going to be a fun week for the two shows. Just something to like take you out of it and sort of break the tension, if you know what I mean, that is sometimes needed with these shows. And if you are new around here, make sure to subscribe. In the end card, make sure to click on those 2 videos if you have not watched them, and I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.